Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs because they lost to the Broncos for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era, which is crazy. They had beaten them like 16 straight times. But does the loss bring concern? And initially, I don't blame you if your first reaction is, "Oh, come on, ball boys. The Chiefs can't lose one game." Really? My concern isn't that they lost a game. They can lose a game here and there. It happens. And even a divisional game to Denver, right? Is Washington a top-tier team? No. But do they give the Eagles trouble? Yeah. Any divisional game, you kind of get a pass from me. The concerns that I have for Kansas City don't stem from just Denver, but we saw them on display in Denver. We talked about this in the offseason when we talked about the Chiefs getting back to the Super Bowl. The core of wide receivers is worse than last year. And you saw it in this game. Rashee Rice had a drop, but he is their wide receiver 1. But he's a rookie. MVS, McCole Hardman had a muffed punt. And if Travis Kelce doesn't play phenomenal, the offense is stagnant. And you wonder, can this team keep pace and win games consistently on a playoff run? I don't have any doubt that they could beat Cincinnati or Buffalo on any given week. But could they go over and over again and beat Cincinnati, beat Jacksonville, beat Baltimore, beat Philadelphia? I'm not sure that they have the offensive firepower too. As well, this show isn't like a drama podcast, but I want, we got to ask the question because it's been brought up. How focused is Travis Kelce? Everything going on in his dating life is very public. You can't blame him for having some focus there. And Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco ripped into him on the nightcap for this. So, those are real NFL players, so don't come at me. But they thought him going to the Rangers game in the World Series was a bad sign. Not a good look. Because the Chiefs were in Kansas City, and then he goes to Texas, and their game's in Denver. And the game he went to in Texas was on Friday night. The game in Denver's on Sunday. Listen, I get it. Planes, how travel works, etc. I didn't think anything of it until former NFL players said that they both thought something of it. That he's not engaged and locked in. That's just not something you do. And if that's just not something you do, then I have to question the focus of you as a player. And again, it's the Chiefs. We're in week 8. Can they figure it out? Absolutely. Do they have the best shot at figuring it out because they have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, or Travis Kelce? Absolutely. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly concerned with this team.
Look, man, the thing that will concern me is if they lose this game on Sunday against the Dolphins and they have a bye week the following week, and the following week they play us. And I would be very concerned if I was an Eagles fan. But speaking about the Chiefs, though, I mean, the Kelce thing, I was going to mention that. I'm not sure if you were. It was crazy. I was watching that, and I'm like, Taylor Swift is not even at the game. So why is he at the Texas? Like, he has no affiliation with the Texas Rangers. Like, at
Dude,
all. It made no sense.
I didn't see, I was out at the bar for a little Halloween thing, so I wasn't 100% focused on the TV 100% of the time. Full transparency, and I'm not a huge baseball guy, so I was in and out of the World Series to begin with, and it's not exactly the teams that I would have wanted to see in there. I digress. If I was if I liked baseball how I liked football, of course I'd still be watching, right? But I just don't. So I was kind of half watching it, had a little bit of a bet on the Rangers once they were down. Cashed. But I'd really guess there was some kind of brand deal, whether he was wearing something, drinking something, because he was up in a box and typically if like a celebrity's up in a box at an event that's not like their home team, usually it's like a brand box. And he's been in a lot more commercials lately, obviously. Again, like I said, date who you want. I'm not like dogging on him for his dating life, but certain opportunities are coming his way now because of how public he is. And my guess is going to that game wearing some Nike thing or drinking some specific like Powerade beverage while in the stands. Make sure you're holding it while the camera comes to. I don't know, something like that. That'd be my guess as to what the opportunity was that he was there, because they're from Ohio, the Kelce, so he's not a Rangers fan. Um, I didn't see him like on the field with any Rangers players after the fact. Like it's not like him and Corey Seager are like boys. So unless he's just like a big baseball guy and really wanted to go to the World Series, but I don't know. I mean, they were at the Phillies game, they kept
Yeah,
like the Eagles, but again,
yeah.
that's right in your city. So it's not like Kansas City, Missouri, and Arlington, Texas are right next to each other. Like he had to hop on the red eye to get there.
Yeah, and two, I think too, we have to mention too, Patrick Mahomes was sick. He was feeling under the weather, and that came up Sunday morning, and the weather was
A
not
lot of guys were sick
pretty
this
at
week,
all.
man.
Like it was definitely cold in Denver, altitude, stuff like that. So I do, there's a lot of factors that play into it. But like you mentioned too, I mean, there have been some games where the Chiefs, had to kind of win at the ends. It wasn't pretty, and going into Sunday, man, this is a huge game for both teams. I feel like because the Dolphins, they're still missing that key win that really was like, wow, okay, this Dolphins team has a shot of making the
Yeah,
Super
and
Bowl.
in the big games versus Buffalo and Philly, they got cooked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just they're missing the big key win, but in the big key spots, they've been made to look like a pretender.
Facts. And like we've seen before, I'm going to be very curious to see when each team, and this is in Germany too, I'll
Yeah.
be very curious to see when these teams arrive in Germany.
How do
Because
you think Tua
if
does with the Spagnolia pressure? You know he likes to send
yeah,
blitzes. Um, I know you are the podcast Tua, I guess, hater, doubter, whatever you'd like to call it. You just don't believe in him, which is, valid. It's not like he's performed at an NFL level at a high level for you to believe in him, but that's a defense where they'll send pressure. And they've been, the Chiefs have been a top 5, top 10 defense this year. So he's facing a real defense.
mm-hmm.
I'm much more interested to see. I mean, maybe not, because now that Ramsey's back, I'm excited to see that. It's a really good game. It's one to wake up for.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the Dolphins have a nice way to spread the ball around, and they're stupid fast, man. And I think that's the perfect advantage over a heavy blitzing team. Like it's different between the Eagles, where the Eagles that pass rush, you could bring three guys even,
Mm-hmm.
and still have a solid pass rush. Whereas the Chiefs, they're blitz heavy. Spagnuolo, that's what he does.
Yeah.
So I think for that reason, I think Tua will be all right for Sunday. And I don't want to give a preview or anything, but I think they win. I think the Dolphins